Have you cut alcohol, but you're not losing any weight? Can't figure out why? We have the answer. Watch this.
Our next caller is Val from Hawaii.
Val, how can we help you?
Hey guys, it's so good to see you and talk to you.
How you doing?
I'm good. This morning felt like Christmas morning, like a little kid, super excited to get up. So,
right.
Oh, wonderful.
yeah.
Sal Santa Claus sometimes. So.
Yeah. that is a nickname.
Stop.
Sal's a Claus.
That is a nickname.
Yeah, we don't want to ask why.
Let's hear it, Val. What you got for us?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to stick to the script like Doug said. So my first question is, I've actually become alcohol free. Today is 4 months exactly. And I felt that once I did this, the weight would like easily and naturally drop off, but it hasn't. Mainly in my midsection, and I've noticed my arms are like waving a lot more and my thighs are widening. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how to adjust my overall routine now that I'm 41. I know I need to make some changes. I don't know what I'm missing. I can't pinpoint what I need to change, but I feel like I'm really tuned in to myself. So I just thought it'd be really cool to get you guys' perspective on that.
Val,
I have some questions.
Real quick, what is your skincare protocol? You look amazing. You said you were 41?
Yeah, I'm 41. Actually, I am a licensed esthetician.
Okay, that makes sense. You look like you're 10, 12 years younger. All right, sorry.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job there.
Thank you. Well, my protocol is less is more. That's what I teach all my clients. So I do like a freshwater rinse in the morning and then moisturize. And then at night, I usually do a good cleanse or a scrub and moisturize. So just moisturize is really like, that's where it's at. And you guys are doing that.
We did. We figured that out late in life. So.
Like a year ago?
I'm not quite there yet, but
Doug was hiding that from us for a while. He was on it. He was on it earlier. We figured it out just now. So
so Val, to give a little background, because you gave us a little bit more background in your question. You said you were 41. You've been an athlete since you were 4. You started training around 13, 14. So you have experience. You were in the Navy for a while, and you were the 7th female diver in the U.S. Navy. Wow, you're a badass. Okay, so
that's cool.
So you have a long history of fitness and exercise and all that stuff. So that's important to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you mind if I get a little deeper into why you stopped drinking alcohol?
No, not at all. I actually really enjoy talking about it. I over the years used it as fun and a social thing. And then it just kind of gradually developed into something different. And my last 2 years of my drinking career, I noticed a lot of changes. Like my thoughts were getting a little bit darker, the weight gain, the sleep. It just developed into this really bad relationship. And I just always was sober curious. And last year I was just like, I'm doing this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it and at least take a year and face. This was the biggest thing for me. I knew I had to face a bunch of trauma and I knew I couldn't do that with alcohol in my life. So I was like, let me get rid of this. Let me face my shit and start to heal myself. And so that's what I've been doing over the last 4 months with morning routine, prayer, reading. I've just, I've dove into it with therapy and all kinds of things. And I feel like a new person.
Good for you.
Val,
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad you have the courage to go into that. So you got to have a little bit of patience, because here's what typically happens when somebody gets rid of a coping mechanism for trauma or challenge. And oftentimes it's something that someone's using to self-medicate, either to distract themselves or to make themselves feel better. And alcohol in the short term is a very effective way to distract yourself, make you feel better, whatever. What happens when you take one thing away is that what we tend to do is replace it with something else. And in this case, you're probably replacing it with something that's a lot healthier than the alcohol was. Now that may be food, and you may not be realizing that it's food. So what you may be doing is you may be eating more than you might have been eating before, because now you've removed the alcohol. So although you've cut the calories from the alcohol, you've either replaced it or started, or maybe even eating a little more from food, because food is the most abused substance in modern societies. Okay. And it's abused because the negative effects are not as pronounced as things like alcohol. It doesn't tend to destroy families and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good trade. The reason why I said to you, be patient, is because you're 4 months in, and it's going to take a little bit of time for you to get to the point where you don't need to self-medicate with other things. Now, I will give you some other options that you may want to use when you feel the urge to eat more or maybe use food as a substitute. I would ask you to use things like activity and maybe meditation. Now, the problem with activity and meditation is
doesn't taste good.
And activity that's very true. Activity can be distracting, so that can be distracting like food. Meditation is not distracting at all. It actually puts you in where you're at, and you kind of have to look at things. So I would. You said you're working with a therapist. I would tell the therapist this and say, look, I cut alcohol out. I notice I'm gaining a little weight. I think I may be eating more as kind of a substitute, and then work with them, because that's going to help you solve the root. Because I could give you the typical advice we give on the podcast with macros, cutting calories, and that kind of stuff. But then you're still going to be faced with, I got to deal with the stuff, and I don't have a way to cope with it.
I have something that I think may be useful for you, especially since you seem like a very self-aware person. Like, have you experimented with fasting much?
Yes, it's funny you say that, Adam, because I have been on the intermittent fasting train before it was even a train. And I used to do one 24-hour fast a week, and then I would try to roll that into like 148 or 72-hour fast a month. And I definitely have gotten away from that over the last few years. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I think you're a type of person that I think I could introduce. Though obviously I wouldn't be introducing for the first time. You've obviously done this before, but especially since we are working on trauma things and stuff like that, also trying to pay attention to maybe I had some habits of going to the refrigerator more times than I used to by just having a pure fast day like that. I just and using it as a day of like looking internally. We're not using it to cut calories. We're not trying to use it to like measure the success of it but really, since we're talking about trauma, since we're talking about working on ourselves, you're already incorporating meditation, prayer, and stuff like that. Incorporating a fast, I think will help you and that paired with your counseling and everything that you got going on, I think you would be somebody that I think could get some value from that.
So long as the after fast part doesn't look like a rebound. Okay.
Right.
So that's because that can happen. People will fast, then the day after, it's like you make up, or the 2 days after. Okay, you could try this, Val. And this takes a little work, but try journaling. And it could literally be a sentence. Before you eat, write something in the journal about how you're feeling and about how you want to actively care for yourself. Okay? So right before you take a bite of anything, it literally can be one sentence or a paragraph, whatever you feel. And it's got to be something along the lines of, this is how I feel right now. So you got to kind of be in touch with how you feel. And I want to love myself through action. Add that sentence. So that means that loving yourself, not the feeling, but rather the action. Then after you're done eating, do another entry into your journal, and just do that each time. The reason why this works is not necessarily because you're journaling, but rather it's making you pause and making you aware of what's going on. This is harder than it sounds. This is a lot harder than it sounds, because if you are indeed using at times food as a distraction, you're not going to want to pause and get out of that state of mind. It's like you don't want to stop. You want to just keep, just like when you drank alcohol. Imagine if you had to journal before you had a drink. You'd be like, fuck it, I'm just going to drink. I don't want to.
The power of that though, with a self-aware person is incredible though.
Yeah, it's just the doing it that's hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you go through, and I would even I'd have like a fast, and then the next day, this would be I'm focused on the journaling that day, because it's going to tell you a lot in that day about yourself. And being a self-aware person like you are, I think it'll be very enlightening at the least for you as far as the behaviors around your eating and stuff like that. Give
yourself a year. So you're 4 months in. Give yourself an additional, 8 months. It's a full year. Whenever I've ever worked with anybody who's dealt with, quitting cigarettes or alcohol or any other kind of a challenge, it's taken us a year to come back full circle. And almost always they replace it with something else.
Yeah.
And my strategy was always to replace it with something that was healthier. Now, anything could be abused, including exercise and meditation. Those things can be abused too, but it was a better alternative. So when I used to tell people like who quit cigarettes, I'd say, okay, every time you want to smoke, go for a walk. And then what it would turn into is they were walking all the time. And that's okay, but to go from there to, even healthier was easier. So I would give them that substitute.
So those are all the lifestyle hacks. What have you done like workout wise in terms of, have you changed up the stimulus at all and like kind of like sought after like an entirely different type of adaptation?
No, I haven't. I've been kind of stuck over the last few years. Just I go to the gym. I always have a big focus on legs. So I was squatting 2 or 3 days a week. The first thing I do as soon as I go to the gym is I do pull-ups, because that's, if I don't, do those, I lose them. But I've noticed that I have been stuck. And so I did start MAPS 15. I'm on week 3 right now.
Okay.
And I really like that. I also have MAPS Anabolic that I originally bought in 2018, and didn't fully follow it. So I think programming could definitely help. However, I get so frustrated, like trying to follow a program. It's really weird.
Because you're an athlete.
Yeah,
They're the
I know
worst.
it's good. I'm like, I know I need to do this, but I love to just like cruise to the gym, be like, all right, today I'm doing blah, blah, blah. I like to just like, cruise in there and do stuff, but I know it's not beneficial.
Along those lines, though, and I like where Justin's going with this, and what you're sharing right now is it might do you well to actually, and I don't want to be the one to pick it for you. I want you to come up with like a new
Something
goal,
exciting.
New like, and
towards,
give you an example. Like, so when I go through times in my life like this where I'm trying to re-spark like my drive in the gym or focus, I'll do something really like it's like, you know what? I've never like made an attempt to get really mobile or really good at the Turkish get up or something that is like out of the normal for you that's not like your normal routine or training. And because you kind of have that athletic background,
What great advice.
Get into it, get competitive with yourself about being good at the Turkish get up or the windmill or something that's different and unique that takes some practice and mental focus around it. And it also feeds into a little bit about what Sal was saying is like, it takes away the reaction to the trauma and doing some other behaviors, and it replaces it with this new kind of obsession of, I'm going to be really good at the snatch.
It's a positive draw. It's something that you're very motivated to get up and attack. Like it's a new stimulus that you're just like, wow, let's see what I can do with this today. So I totally agree.
When people are changing behaviors, one strategy is to change where they live, or their office or their furniture, because it's like it feels like you're new. So changing your goal in the gym to something you normally don't do could actually do that. Well, now you're going to. So let me ask you this: do you normally train with weights for strength, for stamina? Do you do short rest period, long rest periods? Like, what is your tendency when you work out in the gym?
I think I train for strength, mostly maintenance. And then I started noticing after listening to you guys talk about rest periods, I think I used to take really short rest periods. And so I've actively been thinking about Adam pulling me down by my shirt and saying, sit down. Like, okay, I got to sit my ass down or wait a minute.
What would be more out of the ordinary for you? Training for right now, okay, talking about right now, training for lots of endurance and stamina, or training for like maximal strength like a power lifter? Which one would be like more out of the ordinary for you?
Endurance and stamina, for sure.
I'm going to send you MAPS cardio.
Okay.
I'm going to send you MAPS cardio. This is going to be like a stamina endurance based training program. Okay. Plus it involves, cardio workouts that you do on your own. So it's going to give you a lot of flexibility to go outside. You're in Hawaii, so you can probably go outside almost any day of the year. And you can use any form of cardio on that particular day, whether it be swimming, which I'm sure you're excellent at, running, biking, whatever. I'm going to send that to you. Take a look at it. If it looks like something that'll take you out of your comfort zone and you think you can mentally focus on trying to train this particular way, I think it would be a great way to kind of give you a different start.
I think it's a great suggestion. The last thing I'll add to that is that, and that's why I didn't want to pick something for you, is because somewhere in there's something you've thought about doing before, or you've never really put effort towards. Whatever that is, I would become focused on that. And you could do that in conjunction with the MAPS cardio or by itself. I just think that you get a lot of value from changing your fitness goal like you never have before, and becoming a little obsessed about that, like to where you're thinking about kind of throughout the day, like, oh man, I can't wait to practice this, or I'm going to try this and add this. Like, so
the cardio day will do that, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, that's why I like the cardio
recommendation. It could be biking, rowing.
Because we built a lot of flexibility in that for you to kind of pick your own stuff. So, then let's put Val. Are you not in the forum? Are you in the forum yet or no?
I don't have social media, so
wow, good for you.
Wow, I was just thinking I couldn't possibly like her anymore, and then you said that.
well, shit, I don't want to make you get on there for us. So.
Well, I knew you guys were going to ask this, and I was like, do I make a fake Facebook to be on the forum? And I was like, nah, I can't do it.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I would venture to say that we have the largest forum of people that have actually done that. Meaning, like, I think we have a lot of people that are conscious of
create a Facebook.
We have several people that have had to create just so they can be in the forum. They don't use it for anything else, but they want the access in there. So I've never seen that anywhere else, but I think we have enough people that are actively trying to stay off of social media.
Well, look, we'll send you MAPS cardio, and then if you change your mind, we'll give you access to the forum, because I would love to hear from you. I want some follow-up, okay?
Yeah, at least follow up with us. At least email in a couple months and let us know how things are going.
Yeah, for sure. I could do that. I kind of had a feeling you guys were going to shoot for cardio. And I honestly had a feeling that that's what I needed to do, because last January I did a bulk from January to April. And I mean, I got real thick. And so
I love it.
Ever since that bulk, I've just been bulking around,
Okay.
And so I know cardio is what I need.
It sounds like
Shake it up.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you. So do you guys want to hear my second question, or are we out of time?
Oh no, I think we're good.
Go ahead.
Doug says no, but we say yes.
Okay, well, let's keep it short and sweet.
Okay, so it kind of goes with the first question. How can I totally reset gut and brain health after being a heavy drinker for 25 years? So I kind of have some ideas of where you'll go with this, but I wanted to, I guess, hear it from you guys, what your thoughts were on that.
I don't know if you could reset, but slowly. So anytime you change your diet radically, so you go from consuming alcohol to not consuming alcohol, your microbiome changes and your brain starts to adapt and change along with it. So alcohol consumption can change the hippocampus of the brain. It can change different regions of the brain. And the brain is plastic, and it does take time to adapt. You're 4 months in. You've probably already noticed some changes. But give it a year. Give it a year, and then that's where you're going to see all that stuff. So now, if you have poor gut health and you think there may be an issue, that's why I would recommend working with like a functional medicine practitioner. Our team, we work with a team with Dr. Stephen Cabral. Maybe we'll get the website. Is it?
I think it's StephenCabral.com. I'll double check.
Yeah, Stephen spelled with a PH.
I also like the advice given about the fasting for this reason too, though. So every time you come out of your fast, one of my favorite parts about doing those 24-hour fasts is I feel like I get closer and closer to really finding all the foods that really agree with me and disagree with me. And so treat those fasts like that. Like as you come back out of the fast, really be hyper aware of as you introduce certain foods, like which ones are agreeing with you, which ones are not, and then try and formulate your
also those moments during the day where you feel a bit triggered. Like I would normally go to like Cope and grab a drink, and maybe it's like the end of the day or maybe whatever it is, like how to build new associations to then, start patterning. So that way now this is something else that you're kind of like creating as a new behavior.
Yeah. And then there's another company we work with that has a probiotic that's just phenomenal. It's not a cure-all, but it makes a difference. It's seed.com/mind pump. So if you're not taking a probiotic, you can even try that.
Also be aware, okay, we keep adding stuff to you right here, of your military background and desire to want to do more. And like you, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I think you're heading on the right path. You're already the fact that you're aware of what's going on. Don't throw too much at yourself at once. Okay. Yeah. So focus on one or two things, really drill it home, really assess it, get better at it, implement it, and then, move to the next thing. You got a lot you're doing and you're moving in the right direction. I know the desire a lot of times, especially people that are very diligent, organized, and all about it, like they want to keep stacking on that. Be patient. Be patient. You're doing great already.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it.
I really appreciate your guys' time. I've been dying to be on here and talk to you guys. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
if you ever really want to think about having a female guest every now and again, I'm your chick.
All right, Val.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you, Val. Stay in touch.
Just invite us to Hawaii. That's all. It's a lot easier that way.
There you go.
Actually, I got to tell you, I moved to Colorado 3 weeks ago. So I'm sitting here in 6 inches of snow right now. But
Talk about a shift.
Well,
yeah.
that's not
I
bad
have a
either.
condo in Hawaii, so it'll always be home though.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Val. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Awesome. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye. Well, I know we're short on time here, but I just want to say I love that lady. She was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
great stuff. Great
people.
Great questions.
Yeah.
But that's common. You cut one thing out, and you'll naturally replace it with something else if it's a coping mechanism. So
Yeah, and also she's got a lot she's doing well, and to not overwhelm yourself.
She's
Totally.
facing it, and more power to her. Just keep it up.